Ezra Jack Keats is an award-winning author and illustrator, best known for his book The Snowy Day, which took the Caldecott Award. But who is Ezra Jack Keats, and how did he come to write such well-known children's books? Let's get to know Mr. Keats and discover how he became so successful. Born Jacob Ezra Katz on March 11, 1916, he was the youngest of 3 children to a poor Polish immigrant family of Jewish descent, living in Brooklyn, New York. Jacob's father knew what it was to struggle. Of course, these were the times of the Depression, and everyone was living day to day. His father wanted him to have a good job that would bring in money for the family. He recognized Jacob's love for the fine arts and his talent for it as well. At a young age, Jacob earned 25 cents painting a sign for a local store, which was a lot of money for their family. He earned his father's respect in this way. As a senior in high school, Jacob was set to receive an Outstanding Young Artist Award. Suddenly, his father had a massive heart attack and died. Jacob had to help out the family as best he could. He would put off college and begin work instead. Jacob worked hard to support his family that remained an older brother and sister and his mother. He would take classes at night, but work during the day. Some jobs he had were painting murals, a comic book illustrator, and in 1943 he joined the U.S. Army to support World War II. After the war ended, Jacob spent a year abroad in Paris studying easel paintings. When he returned, he was commissioned for illustrations for Reader's Digest covers, New York Times book reviews. To stretch his income, Jacob began successfully selling some of his easel paintings. 2 years after World War II ended, Jacob changed his name to Ezra Jack Keats. He knew what it felt like to be judged. He was a target of anti-Semitic prejudices. Ezra felt sympathy and understanding for those that suffered similar hardships. Ezra has said, "I didn't even ask to get into children's books." He really began by illustrating books for other writers. Then he wrote his own book called My Dog is Lost, where the main character was a minority child from Puerto Rico who spoke no English, only Spanish. For 2 years, Ezra worked on another book, which would later become his first Peter book, The Snowy Day. In this book, his main character is a black boy, and this book later brought him the Caldecott Award in 1963. 6 Peter books would follow, and readers got to see Peter as he grows up through adolescence. In total, Ezra Jack Keats has illustrated 85 books for children and also contributed to writing 24 classic children's books. He died in 1983 of a heart attack in New York City. Now that we know who Ezra Jack Keats is, let's look at him as a writer. Where does he get his inspiration? Well, Ezra has said many of his own childhood experiences have become storylines for his books. Themes such as bullying, male and female relationships, talents, and dreams were all once felt by Ezra himself. He also looks in his community for character inspiration. In fact, one day while reading a Life magazine, Ezra Jack came across a series of pictures. He cut out the pictures, hung them in his studio for inspiration, and sure enough, this is where he found Peter. His own love for animals inspires much of his writing. Ezra's own dog, cat, and goldfish probably helped him to easily write the book Pet Show. Lastly, travel helped Ezra Jack Keats to write. On a trip once to Arizona, he brought along sketch pads. Later, he came out with the book Clementina's Cactus. Why are Ezra Jack Keats' books so loved by so many? Well, first, Ezra Jack Keats really understands New York City. He understands what the streets look like, the graffiti, the buildings, the urban life. This helps him to write successful books and to draw amazing pictures. Reviewers have said that Ezra Jack Keats can think like a child. Many times he would go into schools and just talk to children to get their feelings on things. He was always sure to listen to them. Although he never had children of his own, he loved, trusted, and respected the children that he worked with. Lastly, let's look at the characters that Ezra has created. He has 6 main characters that all share the same neighborhood. They each come from different backgrounds and are of various races, but each child in Ezra's world has something to deal with, a problem that everyone can relate to. Peter is the main character, a young boy who, as Dr. Lily Pope has said, is universal. Peter is every child. We meet Peter's younger sister Susie in a book called Peter's Chair. Archie, Peter's best friend, is a confident boy who learns to solve his problems in a unique way. Amy is Peter's female friend, and she teaches characters that it's okay for boys and girls to play together. Louis and Roberto round out the gang. These characters all have something to say to audiences, and no matter what city or country a reader comes from, he or she is always welcome in the neighborhood of Ezra Jack Keats' characters. As beloved as his characters are, Ezra Jack Keats has not escaped controversy. Charges of racism have been shot his way. Those opposed have said a white Jew of Polish descent should not be writing or drawing black children. Ezra's response was to say he was inspired by the Brooklyn scenes where he grew up. The color of the children is besides the point. Ezra Jack Keats is a famous author and illustrator of children's books, known best for his bold colors and combination of watercolors and collage. He creates a world where all children want to be.